July 17th, 2026. Dear Detached Me. Have you ever experienced loving someone but keeping them at arm's length? You care about them, but you can't allow yourself to get too close. I have always had an extreme talent for keeping people at bay. I love hard and I love deep. I also leave before I'm left, and I push away before anyone has time to cause any real pain. I have spent many years developing a way to get out of relationships. I give myself outs just in case I need to. With my husband, some of the outs have been pretty bad. I don't always partake in the ideas that I have, but they're there for me to act on if I need to. There have been many occasions where I think if I just do something bad enough, he'll divorce me. If I don't call back, then that friend won't try talking to me. If I don't give in, then I don't have to worry about that relationship. Somehow, in my mind, that has become easier than just saying, no, stop, I don't like it. I don't know how to deal with that confrontation, so I just detach. Detachment feels safe to me because that means that I don't have to worry about being overly hurt by something that I shouldn't have been in to begin with. I had very little sleep today. By choice. I was working on the journal, which is almost complete, and I was just really excited. It seems to be going together extremely well. I am making this with love, and I'm hoping that you guys see it and you understand it and you want it the way that I need you to want it. So I didn't go to bed till sometime after 5:30 this morning, knowing that I was supposed to be up and ready for breakfast at 10. I am really good at being manic, so running on low amounts of sleep is my forte. So I go into my room, I climb into bed, I take what could only be considered a nap. I get up, I get dressed, and go to breakfast. And the breakfast was amazing. It was just what I needed. I was enjoying my time at breakfast. For the most part. And then I wasn't. And then I wasn't. See, the thing is, feelings for me are like a pendulum. They shift really quickly. I can go from being extremely happy to extremely upset in no time flat. And the things that cause this feeling don't always make sense for the severity that it ends in. So, today it was just a matter of, I didn't like the way I was being talked to. And instead of saying, I don't like the way I'm being talked to, I just shut down. I close myself off, and I say, you know what? I'm just not going to deal with it, because I'm just done dealing with it. And then, what runs through my head is all the options I can have to remove myself from the situation. I'm pretty sure that's not how relationships are supposed to work. Your mind isn't supposed to constantly think how you can leave. I live in flight mode. So today, I've spent a good portion of the day not sulking, but just indifferent. I have this air of not caring. And it's not that I don't actually care. I just tell myself that it's easier not to. And if I prepare myself to not care, then I can be cold and callous. And if I'm cold and callous long enough, I'll actually feel that way. And then it won't matter what happens. I have been working on that in a lot of my relationships, I've noticed. Best friends, boyfriend, husband, kid. It's like relationships are just too hard for me. I invest myself in them and I get caught up in them, and then one thing happens, and that's all I need for all the cards to come falling in. I don't know how to stop it. And if I'm being 100% honest, I don't know if I want to. Sometimes the things that we teach ourselves to do to keep ourselves safe don't seem like problems. It doesn't seem like an issue. For me, having the ability to shut things down and get out of a situation isn't an issue. It's safety. I'd rather be safe. But it's really hard to maintain relationships like that. I hear everything differently than how it's said. The slightest hint of it being something else can send me stepping back from that relationship. I asked my boyfriend the other day if he would ever consider me to be the only person he would be with. And he said, yes, possibly. Meaning that he could imagine there would be a time where it would be him just being interested in me. That's a positive. I know that's a positive. What my brain heard, I'm not enough. And then if I'm not enough, that means I should stop putting myself out there. I should stop talking to him. I should stop joking with him. I should stop playing around with him. Because if I'm not enough, then there's no point. He didn't say any of that, but I instantly pull away. It's my go-to. It's my trauma response. It's my reaction to life's problems. Just flee. I can't recall times where my thought process has just been fight to make it work. My go-to answer has always been, fine, then I'll leave. If I'm not good enough, I'll leave. If I'm this, then I'll leave. If you think this badly of me, I don't deserve to be here. Being detached just feels better. At least then I'm on my own and I don't have to worry about hurting anybody else or causing anybody else issues, making anybody else mad. Yeah, it's lonely, but there are things to calm the lonely nights, temporary satisfactions. And I know that there are many of us who have that same thought process. Today, I talked to a friend, and she's struggling. And I know that she's struggling because her fight or flight kicked in recently. She chose flight. And everything in her is telling her to go back. She's still fighting. She's still safe. She's still where she needs to be. But it's a process. Every day she has to wake up and choose her. Every day she wakes up and she chooses her children. That's hard. Being a mom means putting others before yourself. And that's hard. That's hard for anybody who doesn't struggle with mental health. And then there are those of us who really have an issue with reconciling it all in our head. We want what we want, but we know what we need to do. I feel like I'm in that spot. Do I run? Do I stay? Do I hide? I don't know what the answer is. Usually my answer is to dive into something else as a distraction. Be it a book, or a new business idea, or new jobs, new friends, anything that would give me space from what's actually going on. And recently, I feel like part of that has been happening. I feel like I'm diving into things to avoid other things. Because this is the easiest way for me to detach. If I'm just not available, then at some point in time, you'll realize you shouldn't be here. This is not the place for you. So I am struggling. I don't know how to have that conversation. I don't even know who to have that conversation with. Because I feel like I've had that conversation previously and it didn't go anywhere. It wasn't understood the way it needed to be understood. And that happens often. I feel like I'm conveying exactly what I'm thinking and exactly what I'm feeling, but the response that I'm getting from it only proves why I should be detached from the situation to begin with. Because no one's going to understand me. No one's going to care. It's not going to make a big deal. I tend to detach when I'm drowning. When I can no longer stay afloat in the mess that is created. Today, I felt like I was drowning. Today, I felt like there was no way to come up for air. And that even on the occasion that I could, it would only lead back to me drowning again. I don't want to live like that. I don't want to wake up and continually feel like I'm stuck in a situation because I didn't know how to say no. I didn't know how to walk away. I didn't know how to stop. Detaching isn't the same as leaving. Detaching isn't the same as fighting for what you want and what you need. Detaching will never give you that. It'll give you pain and tears and anger. But what it never gives you is satisfaction. So today, as I work on everything else in my life, I am processing how to do more than just detach. How do I say no? How do I walk away? Because I feel like it's time. I feel like I gave it my all. I've tried. No one can fault me for that. But it isn't working. Not for me. And it would be disingenuous for me to continue to try with the hope that things are going to get better when I see right in front of me how things are going to actually be. So I'm choosing to try to do something different. I'm going to stand up for me. I'm going to do more than detach. I'm going to say I can't do it. And I recognize I'm going to get questions and stares and looks and where did that come from? And oh my gosh, you're a horrible person. And you know what? In their story, I might be all of that. In my story, I have to be my hero. I choose to be my hero. So, if you are listening to this and you feel like you're detached from your own life, that you are simply watching yourself live it, you can't be in the moment, you can't enjoy the relationships you're in, you can't enjoy the people you're with, I'm talking to you. If you are wondering if you should go back or if you should stay, if it's worth it, this is for you. We put up with so much in our state of being detached, and then we excuse it. Don't excuse it anymore. You're worth more than that. I'm worth more than that. I'm worth more than a detached relationship. So tonight, I'm going to fight for that. I'm going to give myself the grace to say no. I'm going to give myself the grace to say this isn't working. I'm going to give myself the grace to say this is done. And then go from there. I may not be everyone's favorite, but I'll be able to sleep better at night. So just remember, today is another page of the story. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be written. And before you close your journal tonight, ask yourself, what was your bite of pie today? Until tomorrow, love you loud.